Welcome to In Good Company, where relationships drive results, with your host, 𝗵𝗲𝗂'𝗋𝗃. In each episode, we explore how great leaders build trust, inspire teams, and turn meaningful connections into real success.
Hi, I'm 𝗵𝗲𝗂'𝗋𝗃, host of In Good Company, where relationships drive results. Today's episode is sponsored by 𝗹𝗲𝗿𝗍 Results. We help manufacturers and distributors build the strategic foundation they need for AI-driven growth, including SEO, content, and multi-channel programs that drive measurable results. To learn more, visit www.𝗹𝗲𝗍-manufacturing-marketing.com. Today, I'm joined by Wes Murphy. Wes is VP of Operations at Peoria Production Solutions, where he leads large-scale kitting, assembly, and fulfillment programs for manufacturers across a wide range of industries. His role focuses on operational efficiency, quality, and ensuring complex programs are executed at scale. Wes, welcome to In Good Company. I'm super happy to have you here with me today.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Awesome. So let's start at a high level, Wes. Kitting is a term that gets used a lot, obviously, at your company and within the industry, but is not always clearly understood by the common folk, for lack of a better word. From your perspective, how do you define kitting in a manufacturing or supply chain environment?
So, simple way to put that is just it's multiple products coming together, put in either a bag, a box, or some kind of packaging to create its own unique SKU. Typically, it's multiple parts going into a bag to a final to the end customer, but I mean, there's also variety packs for drinks and other such things that would also be considered kitting, as well as subscription boxes, which we all know are taking over everywhere currently.
Right, exactly. So we're seeing more manufacturers move toward bundling components into a single production unit. What is driving that shift?
A lot of it's turn time to the end customer. It's taking less space since we're turning multiple products into one spot. So it's more about ease of use and turn time to the end customer. Gives them all products needed in one kit instead of having to order multiple components to do the job they're trying to accomplish.
Okay. And, what would you say the companies that you work with, your customers, what are they typically trying to have you help them solve when they come to Peoria Production Solutions for kitting support?
A lot of it's efficiencies. It's turn times to the customers. They're trying to find actually multiple packagers. That way they have localized warehouses to get product to customers as quick as possible. On top of helping with the efficiencies as we're kitting, the quality obviously goes up since we're inspecting as we go. Instead of having multiple parts that are being checked, they can check one component. It goes out as a finished kit.
Okay. So here's a question for you. Do you store a lot of the inventory for the customer?
Yes, we do. We do have a lot of warehouse space, so we are building to stock for them. And then as they need, as their supply demands, then we are fulfilling orders for them.
Okay. So that was going to be my next question. Do you do fulfillment?
Yes, we do. We've recently got more into the fulfillment here at PPS.
Okay.
A lot of build to stock, and then ship to order, or even we've had other companies that were eBay kind of third-party suppliers that we were doing fulfillment for as well.
Okay. What about like Amazon and Walmart Marketplace and?
So don't have much with the Walmart yet, but we do have some Amazon. It's a few different companies, some brokers that have reached out as well to do multiple different companies where we're repackaging, putting Amazon labels, since Amazon has some pretty specific guidelines for how their stuff has to be packaged and labeled. So obviously they're offloading that overhead to us so we can do it for a cheaper rate and get that turn time faster for them.
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of buzzwords for what sounds like things that you do: kitting, fulfillment,
Yep.
Inventory management, all of that stuff. I guess one thing leads to another with what you're doing, and you kind of become a turnkey solution from your
Yep.
customers.
Yep.
Awesome. So one area that comes up frequently is how kitting supports more complex operational scenarios. For example, during product recalls or corrections, companies are assembling repair kits and managing rework offsite. How does Peoria Production Solutions support those types of situations?
So we've a few different ways actually. We have had warehouses shut, and companies have reached out to see if they can get the product immediately to us so we can continue, so they're not missing their deadlines. We've also, as I was talking earlier, variety packs. We've had some where someone else has processed the work, didn't get the separated the variety of the way the customer needs it to go to Sam's, Costco, whatever end user it may be. And it's come and got redirected to us to break it down, make it correct, and push it right through. So we have been a drop shipment location for a few different companies to correct prior problems. Not many of the recall issues, but a lot of the redirect and warehouse shutdown or upgrades, even for warehouses where they know they're gonna have downtime. So they're trying to find that secondary co-packer. That way, not all of their eggs are in one basket.
Right. So it sounds like your customers view you, well, obviously you're a partner of theirs, but you're there in a planned capacity, but you're also there in crisis management. If something happens and it's kind of an emergency, they're reaching out to you, in a time of need.
Yes, with some pretty strict and close deadlines.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Like tomorrow, have this done tomorrow.
I'm running a job like that today, actually.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll keep this going so you can get back to work. So we also see kitting used during plant shutdown. We've talked a little bit about this, plant shutdowns or maintenance cycles. How does pre-assembling kits impact downtime scheduling and execution in those environments?
Thankfully, with that, since we do have a good communication and contact with our customers and do have that partnership, they can kind of generally they know about that ahead of time, so they can increase our demand, so we're prepared for it ahead of time. So then if they are shutting down, say the actual supplier, not the customer, if they're shutting down due to year-end fiscal inventory counts, they can get us that ahead of time. We can build stock. That way we actually have excess stock on hand, so they can then fulfill from that while they're taking care of their paperwork, their books. And then once they are ready to continue that order, obviously they can continue to ship to us, and we don't have a stopgap in our production.
Okay, that's impressive. So where do you see companies getting the biggest operational wins when they implement structured kitting programs?
So, I mean, the biggest is obviously inventory management, having an ERP and a WMS system that's going to be shareable with the customer. That way they can see live time data as well. So we have gotten into the Power BI space pretty heavily, where we can create SharePoints. That way they can take screenshots directly from our inventory system without being able to affect it, edit it, adjust it, but they can still see their product just as well as we are. It gives us the transparency between each other, and we're able to we move things live time, move from storage to a WIP, and then build currently. So every time a build goes through, they can see that. They can see exactly how much finished goods we have theirs on hand, what we're available to ship at any point.
Okay, pretty cool. So labor obviously is a major issue right now for manufacturers, and always seems like it's an issue. How does outsourcing kitting help companies rethink their labor model?
I mean, it kind of puts the burden on someone like us, a co-packer. It allows them to, instead of having that fixed cost of employees when they have their ebbs and flows in business, it kind of lets us look ahead and try and offset that so we can level load. So for the customer, or for the supplier, it's helping them get rid of that fixed cost, and then they're able to purchase by demand, which obviously they're buying by unit, so they're paying a cost per unit of our finished good instead of paying a 40-hour employee. So that is one of the biggest efficiencies they get with it. Secondly, it is inventory control. We are the one housing their product, so they don't have to pay as much for warehouse spacing. So those are kind of the two big things,
Right.
on top of course, as I mentioned, the Power BI and being able to still share that information. So, I mean, it's essentially we're an extended warehouse for them at that point.
Right. And, from a relationship standpoint, how important is trust between Peoria Production Solutions and your clients when you're taking over a critical part of their operation?
So, as we do here, a lot of the customers we get are either recently grown out of doing it in their own house, have either had a supplier issue in the past or a co-packer issue in the past. So the trust and transparency that we provide is a very big thing. A lot of these are these people's babies. So they've created this. This is what they're doing. So they want to have at least visibility of their product, but don't have the time to continue to do the packaging. They need to focus on other higher level things. So that is one of our key things that we push, which is why we do have the SharePoints. We do offer the Power BI screenshots. That way they have that lifetime data that they're always able to pull.
Right. So while we're talking about people and labor and staffing, in my research of Peoria, I was reading some really interesting information about your mission as a company and who you like to employ. Can you talk a little bit about your employee base and the mission?
Absolutely. So we strive to be the premier employer for people with disabilities. So we run the whole gambit here of what you would consider a targeted employee. To me, we're highlighting their abilities. We're not focused on disabilities. So we have people with Down syndrome, autism. We've got blind employees. We have deaf employees. And our whole mission here is to find a way to make it accessible for them and for them to be able to succeed in the job that they do. And I've been here for almost 6 years now. I've come to realize these people are proud to come to work every day. That at the end of the day, they're telling you how much they got done, how good they felt about the job they were doing, that they want to learn more, they want to do more. And that's not something I've seen across other industries.
No, absolutely not. And, based on what I was reading, you guys have quite the longevity with your employees.
Yes, our turnover rate is really, really low. You see a lot of people retire here 40 plus years. It's giving them a spot where they feel like they are wanted, needed, and then all of their work is highlighted. It's definitely a different feeling going home from work here than where I've been in the past.
Yeah,
So,
that's awesome. I love that story. And what a great mission. So Peoria Production Solutions is it's a nonprofit, correct?
cool. Yes, we are a
And
self-supporting nonprofit.
okay. And, companies, I know especially big companies have, some requirements where they have to outsource to, women owned or veteran owned and, companies that employ those with disabilities. Do you come across that a lot with your customers?
So we have had certain customers come in and actually do some videos and some marketing based off of our employment. Obviously, they have chosen us to do jobs, not necessarily always based on our quote, but also because of the mission and what we stand for. So that is another part of that partnership that really has helped. What we do here does touch home with certain people, and those are obviously the people that we want to do the business with the most.
Absolutely. That's cool. So, Peoria Production Solution operates in you're ISO certified. How do you maintain consistency and quality when managing high volume kitting programs?
So it starts with the SOPs and the work instructions. Of course, we have quality procedures, we have our QOPs, but those are all kind of touching base back to making sure we're following the SOPs, that we're setting a standard. And then the work instructions are clearly defining how to do the roles, how to package these products. Of course, and with that, we have inspections. So we have in-process inspection reports that have to be done, have to hit a certain percentage on each job. So every job has a minimum of 10%. Obviously, the more errors we have found with a job in the past, the higher that percentage would be. or the more complex that job would increase the percentage of inspections on those type of jobs. Those are kind of the main ways that we do it. We, of course, have a yearly audit. So someone comes in, makes sure that we are following all of the ISO guidelines, all of our own QOPs, that we have everything that we say we're doing on file. We can prove that at any point. And of course, we would offer the same thing to a customer if they wanted to see, the inspection rate on a job. That would always be something we'd be willing to share.
Right. So what role do ERPs, traceability, and automation play in making kitting scalable?
So that's kind of one of my specialties. I think it starts and ends there, really. Without that, you have no idea where your product is, how much product you have. As you get larger in the ERPs, of course, there's robust scheduling programs. There's multiple different things. It makes purchasing far easier because it's all going through there. All of our invoicing is going through a system. So it is the brain of the body, and everything else is feeding back to that. So we are currently looking at upgrading. So we are looking at a few different ERPs currently as well, because we do know how important it is to continue to look for better options.
Yeah, it's the brain and the heart of an organization, and it's a big investment, but it's important.
Yes.
And
as you said there, I refer to it as the brain because to me the employees here have always been the heart.
I agree with that. So for companies evaluating a partner, what are the most important metrics they should be paying attention to?
Obviously, our tack times are going to be important. We have to be able to get the job done in the deadline that they need to done. Our on-time delivery is definitely also going to be something that is going to be vital to that company's success. So we have to make sure we're providing a reasonable lead time on their request, as well as our quality metrics. Obviously, if we're hitting those other two, but we're sending out product that is not up to inspection or up to the specs and guidelines it needs, it's useless product. So I think those are the three largest. Of course, there's smaller things in there: the communication, the trackability, the openness, the honesty. All of those things are important, but I think they fall behind those three major metrics that, of course, they're going to look at.
Okay. So how do strong internal relationships between operations, quality, and client teams impact execution and outcomes?
So our quality team here actually does a lot of the work instructions. So they are the baseline of making sure we're following the initial guidelines. They're the ones reaching out with customer service and the customer to make sure that we are getting the information needed to give the end customer the quality that they're requesting, giving them the exact product that they're requiring. Without that team and without that open communication, we would have stop gaps in production where it's start, know that it needs to be done this way, stop, and then have to rework. So not only are we stopping, reworking is costing us money, of course, because that's extra labor going into a job that we did not account for. So that is very vital thing. And through this process, our quality team and customer service team have come up. We take sample photos of every new job we do. We send sample photos off to the customer to make sure that that is what they're asking for. And then once that is approved, then we will start our production.
Okay, got it. So this show is about relationships driving results. From your perspective, what separates a transactional vendor from a true operational partner?
So transactional vendor is someone to me that just reached out. They saw us somewhere. They need something done by a certain deadline just for a specific thing. Whereas our partners are the ones that we're making relationships with. We're continuing to grow. We're looking for growth opportunity. They've met us in person or through Zoom calls on a regular basis. We're getting that personal connection. They're understanding our mission. They're trying to grow with us. Of course, we're always trying to take more business in. That's our job here, right, is to employ people. So the more business we have, the more people we get to employ here. So,
which is probably your real objective, is to
Yes,
employ more people. It's not to make more money, although
correct.
when you make more money, you can hire more people. So
Yes. Got to keep that revenue flowing. You just want good revenue.
exactly. It's like the chicken and the egg. What do you want
Yeah.
first? And everybody wants revenue for some reason. So how do strong relationships between Peoria and your clients impact performance, communication, and long-term success?
So we have a lot of customers that do come in and actually watch our operations. They can give good feedback that way. They can tell us ways that they've had to do it in the past, so we can kind of set our lines up to try and mimic what they were doing. But obviously, we're always looking for improvements. We're always looking for ways to make things more efficient. So that's kind of where I come in most of the time, is pointing out the inefficiencies, trying to find the stop gaps or the overload so we can even load that workspace. So customers coming in, being open and honest with them. Obviously, we all get better as we push each other. I'm always asking for the honesty. I don't want the sugar-coated version. If they
Right.
see something, I want to hear it, because then I can look at it a different way. I think it's natural for all of us to think we're really good at our job if we like what we're doing. So, I mean, I do think we have to open ourselves up to take constructive criticism, even if it's not about necessarily you, it's about the work cell or workstation.
Well, there's almost always an opportunity for improvement.
Correct.
So, zero defects, zero mistakes is always the goal. So Wes, thank you for such a great conversation today. I really appreciate you sharing your perspective and experience. Before we wrap up, we're not done. Where's the best place for people to learn more about Peoria Production Solutions, and where can they connect with you personally?
We always can get found on our website. Hold on one second. I know I've got it in here. Pretty sure it's just 𝗴𝗵𝗁
Yep.
Then they can also connect directly to me. I do have my email. It's 𝗵𝗵𝗁, 𝗵𝗵𝗁 at 𝗴𝗵𝗁.com.
Okay. Are you on LinkedIn, or do you
I
prefer
do believe
email?
so. I typically I see emails daily. It goes straight to my watch. So I do see email right away. I am on LinkedIn as well, though. Just my name, Wesley Murphy.
Okay. So PeoriaPros.com and 𝗵𝗵𝗁 at PeoriaPros.com is Wes's email. We will be sure to put that information in our show notes. Before we close, Wes, when you think about a client, partner, or leader who's had a lasting impact on how you operate today, who comes to mind, and what did you learn from that relationship?
So one of the biggest ones is we have a partnership with a company called 𝗲𝗲𝗿𝗀. Uh, he has been one of them that's been very open and honest. He's come in. He supports our mission in a big way. So he was willing to come in, show us how he was doing the job out of his garage before he turned it over to us, and then was also willing to take our feedback on how to make things more efficient as we package and scale. He is scaling currently. We are working with him to take on more product lines and final packaging for full kits to customers. Very, very detailed oriented guy. So it helps a lot when you're taking in product, when you get that, when all of your part numbers and SKUs are clearly defined. So I would say he has given a lasting impact on how he handles business, how passionate he was about his business, and how passionate he was about our workforce and our mission.
That's awesome. So this has been a really great conversation, Wes, around kitting, operational efficiency, quality, and the role trusted partners play in helping manufacturers execute at scale. You already told us where to reach you. I'd like to close with one more. Is there somebody in your career, a person who has made an impact beyond this customer of yours on your leadership abilities? Because you've got a lot of stuff going on. You have a lot of people, you have a lot of projects, and you can't be successful without leadership skills. And clearly you are. Who has impacted you in that sense?
So honestly, it's been a grouping of people. I've always said you can learn just as much from bad leaders as you can from good leaders. So
I
not,
agree with that.
I don't want to put names out there on that side of the thing, but I have had
Right.
very good mentors, as well as ones that, even the bad ones, there was things that they did really well. They might just not have meshed with my style of leadership. So, I mean, I'll say I can throw out a couple names. Paul Ponder and Jeremiah Brown were two of my mentors at Maui Gym. Very different styles of leadership, but I was able to take parts of both of what they were trying to tell me and trying to teach me, and kind of help mold what I've taken as my priority assets and my priority indicators on how I try to treat other people and what I'm
Right.
asking.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, and I agree with that. I mean, everyone has exceptional mentors and leaders they work for, and others that aren't so good.
Yep.
And you do learn from the ones that aren't as strong.
Yeah.
And that's an important thing in life. So if there's one takeaway from today's conversation, it's this. Kitting is not just about putting components together. Done well, it helps manufacturers reduce complexity, improve accuracy, control labor costs, and respond more quickly when the stakes are high. But the real value comes when the relationships move beyond a transaction and become a true operational partnership. Wes, thank you for joining us today. And to our listeners, thank you for spending time with us. I look forward to being in good company with you again next time.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to In Good Company, where relationships drive results, with 𝗵𝗶𝗺𝗃. Be sure to follow or subscribe so you never miss an episode. Until next time, stay connected and keep building relationships that drive results.